You know what? This is meant to be an informal session. In fact, we've got a formal presentation that we're going to go through, but we're going to give you some time to meet all these people who I'm going to introduce to you at the end of the presentation, so that you know what all the tables here are about. The biggest thing that I need you to know right off the bat is we are not here to sell you anything. Okay? There's no sales pitch. This is meant to be for education and awareness. And I started these types of seminars probably about 3 or 4 years ago, when a light went on for me, and I figured out that, you know what, every Tom, Dick, and Harry was having seminars about, you know, what the stock market was doing, what the economy was doing, and all that kind of stuff. And the reality is, my crystal ball is broken. Everybody's crystal ball is broken when it comes to that, okay? So I started to decide, okay, well, what are ways that we could maybe put useful information in the hands of my clients that they can turn around and they can use, okay? And it was very interesting because I was talking to somebody earlier, and they said, you know what, I'm here because everybody knows somebody. Even if you can't use this information personally, I guarantee you know somebody who's going to be able to use one of the services that you see on the tables around us today. Okay? So the first thing that we're going to talk about, and the first person we're going to talk to, is the person who's somewhat responsible for that really large construction that you saw just beside this. I don't know if you can't really miss it. It's one of the biggest buildings in North Burlington, I think. That sounds pretty fair. So I'm going to introduce him. First, we got a little bit of a bio here. So Tanya Opacic has a degree in economics from Zagreb University and University of Toronto. She has 15 years in hospitality, including the last 6 years in the seniors industry as Director of Community Relations at Sunrise in Oakville. She's a resident of Burlington since December 2004, and 8 months ago took the position of Director of Marketing for the Village of Tansley Woods retirement phase, which is the building right next door that she's going to talk to us about. Tanya?
Thank you all for coming, and I see some familiar faces and some of you I don't know. And I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the Village of Tansley Woods retirement that I'm so excited to be part of. And as we mature and add years to our passport of life, our needs are changing, and we might want to focus on our bucket list to do some fun stuff that we still didn't have opportunity to do. And living in a retirement home like we are building next door would give senior opportunity to not be bothered by cooking and cleaning and snow shoveling and leaves raking, but to do some fun stuff that they didn't have time or opportunity to do while raising the family, while working and creating a portfolio that hopefully Mark would take care of. For you who don't know, the building next door will have 58 independent units, 1 or 2 bedrooms with 1 or 2 bathrooms. They will be offered for purchase or for sale, and ideal retirement units will have also kitchens and some meal plans, some care plans. And if you need any more information about that, you can talk to me after. I'm so happy to see you all here, and I hope that some information that you will gain today will be helpful to make some decisions and to make living at home easier and safer, or to have a move as smooth as it can get. I'm going to pass it on to Ron James and to Mark, back to Mark. And thank you again all for coming.
Hi, Oleg. Hi, Sylvia. It's okay. We won't take any demerit points or anything for being late for class. I believe that Oleg used to be a teacher in the music area, right? So how many marks would they lose for that kind of thing? So the big question is, now we found out a little bit about the building next door, and it's interesting because I have some clients that are getting to that stage. Obviously, just a small population, but the interesting thing is, I have more customers who have parents that are getting to that stage, because people are living longer all the time. And so it's really becoming a dilemma. Do we have mom or dad move in with us? We really can't provide the level of care that they need because we're working, we're busy, we have kids, grandkids perhaps, And so what does the next level look like? And that's really what when Tanya initially approached me, I thought this was a really, really interesting opportunity to speak to my clients and some of you about right sizing. Now, this, like I said, this may not be for you right now, but I can guarantee you that at some point, you're going to be looking at right sizing your home. And the thing that we found out from doing this seminar a couple years ago with these two people over here is the fact that selling your house is a lot more than just sticking a sign up on the lawn. Okay? Yeah, I did an interesting poll last time we did this seminar, and I'm going to do it again. Okay? I want to start. Is there anybody in the room who's been in their house here or here or anywhere for 40 years? Anybody? Okay, keep your arm up for a second. Anybody for 30 years? Anybody for 20 years? We've got just about the whole room covered. Okay? And that's not counting the people that you know. And so all of a sudden, it kind of came to me and said, okay, I can have another seminar on the markets, or I can have it on something that I think is going to be relatively useful for the clients over the next 5 to 10 years. Because really, if you haven't right-sized yet, I'm sure it's probably in the back of your mind. And again, because it's not a transaction that happens very quickly, it's something that you need to prepare for. So you want to start planning for that stage of life now. One of the neat things that I really always thought about when I relate it back to finance is the fact that people are always watching the markets, my portfolio is up, my portfolio is down. But in reality, when it comes to selling their house, which is in most cases the largest asset that they own, it's something that they put very little thought into. How can I make it more sellable? How can I make it more appealing? How can I get the most bang for my buck? Well, a couple years ago, I started to associate myself with Ron and Aaron at Stonemill. So you may not have heard of Stonemill before, so I'm going to tell you a couple reasons why I started to work with Ron and Aaron. If you can just flip that, please, Ron. The first thing is the fact that I had a real estate agent that I was using with one of the largest real estate companies that you know of, and she was in the top 1% of sales in Canada. And I sent her to see one of my clients. She walked in, she sold the home within 2 business days. Bing, bang, boom, 99% of asking price. Perfect, right? I think great transaction. You know what the client said to me afterwards? She felt like her house was being sold out from underneath her because it had all happened so fast. And it was sign here, sign here, sign here, sign here, and it was done. And that's when I realized that, you know what? Maybe there's something else to this real estate transaction. Maybe we need to take it a little bit slower. Maybe it's not something that happens in 2 days, but something that happens in 2 months, 2 years, maybe even longer than that. Okay? And when you've been in your home for 20, 30, 40 years, that's definitely the case. Because you've got 20, 30, 40 years of clutter. Right? No, not us.
Memories.
Memories, yes. So why Stonemill? Well, because Ron and Aaron were willing to spend time with my clients. They were willing to take the time to basically handhold them through a real estate transaction, something that they hadn't experienced in a very, very long time. They customized this right-sizing program essentially for my customers, and then when Tanya approached me, it was kind of like the light went on. We were doing this and we said, you know what? This is all starting to come together. And so now we've built a website with tons of information. They're going to tell you a little bit about that. And the main thing is some of the things that you're going to hear about out there as far as real estate is it's expensive. And there's a lot of competition out there in the fact that you can do it yourself. Right? The old 1% min-max commission rates and all that kind of stuff. Personally, much like discount brokerage accounts, unless you really know what you're doing, you can do a lot of harm to one of your biggest investments. You get clients that come in and do the do-it-yourself thing, and they say, oh, well, I sold in a day. I didn't have to pay any commission. Well, the first thing that runs through my mind is, well, your house is probably underpriced then. Right? So, these are things that you want to consider, and why you should probably still be using a professional to help you with one of your biggest assets. There's a reason why. Why you want to use these professionals is smaller company, they're focused on the client experience, superior service levels, they're geared around seniors, And the main thing is they care about all the other people that are in this room that come with the transaction. So they don't just sell your house and leave you high and dry. If you need help in home staging, if you need help with a home inspector, all that kind of stuff, they're going to be able to help you with that. So on that note, I'm going to hand it over to Erin, and she's going to take you through the next couple of slides.
Good afternoon, everybody. Glad to see such a nice crowd here. I wanted to talk to you about